Well, joining us to discuss the legacy of Air India and how the airline really has changed over the decades and whether it's done enough to actually deal with customer expectations. The Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel also joining us, Captain M.S. Kohli. He's a former Deputy Commercial Director of Tourism and Regional Director, Far East Asia of Air India. And Chitranjan Bakshi is a former Commercial Manager at the Indira Gandhi International Airport of Air India. Mr. Patel, let me come to you first. So can new technology alone ensure that the public perception of Air India can change? Because the public perception of this airline has drastically gone down over the last several years.
Well, let me begin with Vishnu, that Air India is about emotion and pride for the entire nation. And when I see an Air India tail in Hong Kong or in London or in New York airports, it really, fills me with a sense of pride and nationalism. So that is symbolic of Air India. And I do agree that in the last few years, Air India has not been able to keep up to the expectations. I think primarily old fleet has a very important role to play, because on one side we have older aircraft, newer airlines are competing with us with brand new aircraft. International airlines have very good aircraft, and this in a way has a big impact on the psychology of even the passenger as well as the people working in the airline. And I do concede that older equipment has its own problems, has more ground time, and therefore flights get delayed, schedules are not kept up, and this has a cascading effect on the entire perception. And of course, why not? Everybody likes to fly newer aircraft. After all, it makes you feel happier, safer, and the experience is much better. Unfortunately, we did not buy aircraft for almost 20 years, and it's only recently that the government has approved the buying of aircraft 2 years ago. But they're yet to come in the required numbers. In fact, there have been some delays also, which is not helping us. But I do concede that old aircraft, older equipment has a big impact on the psychology as well as on the overall experience of the airline, and therefore it has impacted Air India.
And Mr. Patel, you would agree then that there is no immediate answer in terms of customer expectations. It's only the next 3, 4, 5 years, by the time this fleet expansion plan is almost complete, that customer expectations can be met by Air India to true international standards?
Well, I have a problem, you see, because leasing of aircraft is the only other option in the interim when new aircraft are yet to be delivered. And the world market in aviation has dramatically changed in the last few years, and nothing is available even on lease. We are trying to get aircraft from anywhere, at least a good aircraft, nothing is available. And as a result, it is a delay which is beyond anybody's control. Even the new aircraft like the Dreamliner, the 787, which we have ordered from Boeing, has unfortunately been delayed by almost a year, just like the A380 was delayed for other airlines. And had these aircraft started coming in from just around this time, things would have started improving for Air India by the end of the year. But nonetheless, I think it's, of course, one side is of course equipment and hardware, but I still feel that there are many areas of improvement which the entire Air India team, the entire people who work with Air India will also have to put their heart and soul and make sure that they do whatever is possible within the given constraints.
And is that
possible? I think they really need to get their act together.
Is that the problem, sir, the culture of running the airline?
Well, certainly, I think things are not the same as they were in the days of, say, JRD Tata, because it was a small airline, it was privately run. Government airlines have their own issues, but that's not the real problem. The problem, I think, is over the years, I think a lot of complacency has come in. I'm not saying there are the finest people in aviation are still with Air India or the erstwhile Indian Airlines. In fact, most carriers in India as well as in the region like Singapore Airlines and Emirates have got fine Indian people who have worked with Air India in the past. So it's a question of, I think putting the jigsaw together, getting everybody to respond and feel that, yes, everybody has something to do with the airline. And I have been trying, and I'm hopeful that things will certainly improve.
Are there stumbling blocks in that process, sir? Are you encountering opposition from within the management of Air India as you try and push through these changes?
Well, I don't think there is anybody who is trying to sabotage the process, but it pains me to see certain things which can be improved, and things which are, people have to be responsive, people have to be responsible. And I think at some stage there is some slippage, but it does not undermine that the overall ability of the carrier and the people who work in it. I think they are fine people, they are brilliant people. I just think everybody has to get their act together. And I am sure and I'm very confident that Air India has a great future ahead.
So one of the issues which the entire industry is worried about is the lack of pilots. Is that a real concern at this stage as far as the immediate future of Air India is concerned?
No, I don't think that is the concern, because we've been hiring pilots internationally also to fly our aircraft. So that is not the real concern. The other concerns which have been voiced by the people, one is of course the aging fleet, the lack of, I would say, the customer confidence, and more importantly, I think everybody in the airline will have to realize that this is an era of competition. The entire scenario in the world has changed. Competition even at home was never there in the past. We have world-class competition beginning at our own doorstep within the country. So it is a time, and I keep telling, and it's a little bit of a tough statement which I make, is that either our friends in Air India, all our colleagues there, either they perform or they perish, because ultimately it is a consumer interface, it's a customer satisfaction which will drive an airline, not a ministerial diktat sitting in Delhi. So I think it is for everybody to think that this is their future, the future of the country, and the pride of the nation, I would say, more importantly. So as much as we all wish to be passionate about Air India, I think passion cannot be exercised only by words, it has to be translated into action.